Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Meta Lounge. Happy end of summer. I cannot believe the kids are back in school. It's crazy. I have missed you guys. I have been head down in business school. Hi, Karen. Um, Michelle and I have been doing all kinds of amazing things, visioning new products, all the fun things. And by the way, did everybody get their peanut butter chocolate? You guys sold this out over and over. I know it's just when we think we know how many you want by when, then boom, there we go. So that's okay. Not mad about it. Not mad about it. I see our guest joining us for the first MenoWell post summer. I can't believe these kids are back in school. All right, let me bring Stephanie Traver up. Hold on one second. Okay, let me make sure I remember how to do it, Stephanie. I feel so rusty actually. I know she's coming. There she is. Hi,
Hello.
Stephanie. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
Well, I'm sorry to make you my victim of my first guest back at the end of summer. I feel rusty.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure. I'm getting back into the groove of getting my kids back to school, so we're on the same page.
Okay, well, my kids are not in school, right? That's why I'm like, what do you mean? These kids are back in school. My nephews are in high school and they are sophomores and juniors. And they went back to school a week ago. I'm like, boys, what are you doing? They're like, Auntie, do you know you're going back to school? No.
Yeah, I know.
What happened to after Labor Day?
It keeps coming sooner and sooner, but we just have to evolve and stay fluid, right?
I guess so. Maybe not mad about that, right? Get back in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, there's pros and cons.
Back to the routine. Exactly.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. It's so fun to see everybody here. Stephanie Traver, I am so happy to have you. Formally, you are a nurse practitioner. You are Menopause Society certified, and you have a wonderful company called Vital Menopause, which
Yes.
I love. I mean, vital is what we all want, right? We want to go through this transition and feel energetic and vital and beautiful. So, why on earth did you decide to start this company?
Well, it kind of just came to me like I was pregnant alongside a lot of my patients,
Yeah.
and then our babies were born, and then we were growing up together. So I just kept seeing them. We are all growing together, and then perimenopause came, and as I was doing it in a traditional OBGYN hospital-based practice setting, I was just feeling like I couldn't do it thoroughly and well enough, in the
Mm,
time
mm,
constraints and with the insurance constraints and with you know, the education that I had, to be honest,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
was like I specialize in women's health. That like this should be my bread and butter. I should know this inside and out. And when it comes to the reproductive years, I did. And when it came to menopause, it was like, I have this little limited resource kit, and the rest is just sort of a mystery. And so I was like, there has to be more than this, and there is. um, and
Right.
I went and kind of dove into the resources, found that there was a certification, found all kinds of resources like Heather Hirsch Academy.
Love
Her
Heather.
course is
Dr. Heather Hirsch.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. Okay.
And connecting to all the other menopause providers that are doing it really well. And I was like, what's different about this? And I also learned about direct primary care and direct specialty care. So it's like, oh, so if you sort of take the insurance provider out of the equation, you can still do this in a really affordable way, but kind of
Mm-hmm.
make up your own rules and say, like,
Mm,
I want this much time. I think menopause is a priority. I think nutrition is a priority, and I don't need a diagnosis code to tell me it's a priority.
mm.
I can just see that it's a priority and
And
create the
feel it.
space and
Yeah.
time, yes, that's needed to address it fully, not cram it into a 15-minute visit because I'm worried about reimbursement rates, and then also, offer that woman sitting in front of me all the options that might be right for her, and let us decide together, hey,
Mm,
do you want to try this? Does this feel good to you?
yeah.
Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And then let's come back together after a few weeks and see how that's feeling for you. What's your body telling you? And then once we have that feedback, then we go to the next step and we kind of layer that in. So it was really just it. I kind of dreamt of it like if I could do it my own way, what would that look like? What would that feel like?
Those are the
And
best, those are the
yeah,
best models, if you will, of
yeah,
deciding, feeling a space that maybe you don't really feel is there, but it's
hmm
more that you thought like this is how what I would love. Same thing for me, this is the kind of product I would love. And
yes,
so creating it and then putting it out in the world, and that's such a beautiful thing. You also talk about kind of as your philosophy of simple, safe menopause support. And I'm sure many women in perimenopause are attracted to you because it's such a confusing time. I'm so
hmm
glad we're talking so much about perimenopause now. We've gotten over the hump. Like we got the menopause. Like we know
yeah,
menopause is a thing and we love her. And the Perrys are like, what about us? Right? We're coming. I
mm,
don't get it. I don't understand. And it's such a long period of time, often, 10 years. And so, what are they saying when they see that, your philosophy is simple and safe? How are they responding to that?
yeah. I tell them safe and simple does not mean everyone has the same little formula and we're just gonna, plug and
A
play
box.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is not what that means. What it means is that I'm not scared to go on this journey with you, and I'm
Mm,
not scared to say like, hey, what works for you? You've lived in this body a long time, you know it well, so I can listen to you. You can give me the data that you're collecting as you kind of have this lived experience. And then together we can put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And just being heard is extremely powerful
mm,
medicine,
mm.
just
Huge.
just having space held for you and being heard is very powerful. And then someone saying, hey, I know I take it seriously that this is impacting your life and there are solutions.
Yeah.
Here's some solutions that are available. What do you think? I think this could be a good first option. What do you think? And then we try that. And with perimenopause, it's kind of, I tell people there's a lot more variables going on because you have your body's doing its own thing. You've got your own little roller coaster ride going on, and we don't completely necessarily want to flatten that out. But then we're trying to sort of balance it out, take the sharp edges off. So,
Mm. That's a
you
good way to
know,
describe it
yeah,
because we're going to have the roller coaster a bit, but
hmm
no big dips and diddly doos, right? By
yes.
softening it out. I like that a lot. That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, our bodies, don't necessarily like sudden big changes. So
Hmm.
it's like, how can we make those changes just a little bit more gentle, a little bit more easeful? So your body is like, okay, like I know what to do with this.
Right.
The
I
lows
can,
are a little less low, the highs are maybe a little less high. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Beautiful. What do women in perimenopause, when they come to you, what do they usually say that they're struggling with first?
The biggest things I hear is related to mood. So, I want to be around for my kids and what's going on for them and being able to support them in a way that feels good, but I'm just like, biting and
Mm,
short, or my
mm,
partner or, my coworkers or whoever it may be in their life. Like I don't feel like myself. And a lot of people, that's just how they say it. Like, I don't feel like
it's
myself right
myself.
now. And I can't put my finger on it exactly, but it's just something's off. Um,
Hmm.
Low energy, changes in energy, and sleep disturbances, those kind of go hand in hand, right? If you're not
Yep.
sleeping well, you're not going to
Yep.
have much energy.
Right.
And then weight gains, particularly around the middle, which is something that your product addresses so well.
Yeah.
Like, how do we have energy for the things that we need, or want to do? And how do we do something that's really healthy and gonna, create longevity? Because a lot of women I work with are, kind of on the early end of perimenopause often, and they're coming in proactively. They're like, I don't want to struggle through this. I don't want to wait till I'm absolutely miserable. I have
Mm-hmm.
seen what my mom has gone through,
Right.
or my
Right.
aunts or whatever, and I don't want to do that. I want to be proactive, be healthy, be able to be here for, this next third or half of my life and do it really well in a way that feels really good.
I love that. Being proactive. So they're not afraid.
Right, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
But
There's
they
not,
don't want to struggle. They don't want to feel
yes.
they've seen that and they're like, that's not for me. So I'm not scared. I'm not afraid, but I need to learn more. Do they want education? Are they excited? Let's talk about hormone replacement therapy. Are they ready to go for that? Or they just want more someone like, you as a nurse practitioner who is an expert in menopause, helping them feel more confident in the journey.
Yeah.
What is the approach, I guess, that early?
Yeah. Often they already talk about hormone therapy, or they just want to know, like, what's my baseline, what's happening in my body, because no one will even offer me the labs or the information. So they want that information, and then they want to know, like, what does it look like from here? So yes, we have a generation of women that are craving information and they want an empowered approach. So don't paternalize me. Don't act like I'm a child and I can't make these decisions for myself. Give me the information, empower me to make these decisions, and let's do it together. And hormone therapy is absolutely on the table. And for a lot of women, I hear from them very shortly after. This has been life changing for me.
Mm,
I'm sleeping, my mood is back, my energy is back, my relationship is healing. Like the
mm.
things that I was really afraid I had lost
Yeah, I love
forever
that.
are back.
I'm so glad because relationships, marriages, friendships are impacted so deeply for many women who are later. I didn't go on hormone therapy until I was postmenopausal. And man, I could have
Mhm.
slept so much better if I had some progesterone sooner. I
Yes,
had to do all
yes.
kinds of crazy things to sleep. My poor husband is still, I think, has leftover frostbite from me having the window open all year long, those kinds of things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
really the impact on relationships when your hormones are so unpredictable, so out of whack, up and down. How does that interact then when you still have your cycle? You still have a period. So then is it PMS? How do you know the difference? Oh, this is perimenopause versus the PMS I used to have in my early 30s or 20s or something like that.
Yeah, so, there's a couple of different things going on here. One of them is something called a loop cycle. So it's a luteal out of phase event. And it's basically the ovaries are noticing, like the adrenal system and the ovaries are noticing, like, hey, we don't have that many opportunities left to ovulate and to reproduce. And for your biological body, that's your only purpose. Your biological body doesn't care what your plans are or what you've
Trying
done.
to
If
get
you
this book done,
Yeah,
before,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So that's what your biological body wants to do. And so it's like, okay, we sent out a signal that said ovulate with, a spike of estrogen, and we're not sure if that worked. So we're just going to send out some extra ones in that luteal phase right before your period starts, just in case. So you end up
Mm,
getting all of this kind of irregularity, and that can be very intense. And so,
interesting.
PMS can be very severe during this
Mm.
time. And then, it drops down to nothing. And then that's a big shift. And one of the ways that can affect relationships is, estrogen, going back to our biology, estrogen is what makes us care about another person more than we care about ourselves. And, that's how we can become mothers and be good mothers because babies are problematic when it comes to survival skills,
And
unless
teenagers,
and
and
teen
yeah.
yes, yes, at multiple developmental stages. It's kind of like if we didn't have that, we'd kind of be like, well, you're kind of a pain, you're inconvenient,
Put you
you
on the
know,
curb. We don't
moving
eat
on.
them when they're young, right?
Exactly, exactly. So, there's multiple things going on there. There's oxytocin and things that make us bond and all those things. But estrogen is really one of those big factors, right? It's high in our reproductive years so that we can care about another person more than ourselves for a while. Now, during perimenopause, estrogen is dropping and coming up and dropping and coming up. And so people are all of a sudden like, do you have to breathe like that? You know, to their partner.
Okay.
And
I've actually thought that. I
yeah.
refrain from saying it.
Yeah.
Like, when did you start breathing like that?
Hmm. Yes. And so that's an
That's so
example of
funny.
where like that's maybe not a reasonable ask, to be like, could you breathe in a different room?
Right.
Um
Over there, turn your head.
yeah,
But also, I
exactly.
have to say, it is empowering at that some point when you're not so worried about caring for everybody 24/7. That's the positive
Exactly.
side of this. But when you still have those people that you're caring for in your house,
Ex-
it's a problem.
Exactly. Exactly. So, if you can notice when that estrogen veil has dropped and you are clear on your boundaries, and maybe it's, hey, you know what? You rely on me for a lot of things that you can do yourself. That really doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I have clarity on that now that this
Yeah.
estrogen veil has dropped.
I
You
don't
can
need to
keep
do your laundry anymore.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. I don't need to make a list for you in order for you to be an equal partner in this, relationship. So you can keep that clarity because that clarity is a gift. And then
Mm,
when the estrogen kind of comes back up and you have a bit of space again, you can be like, hey, I can come with this clarity, but add some softness back.
yeah.
So it's kind of a cool time of life where like you've
Right.
got some extra skills that you didn't have before, some extra gifts that you didn't have before. It's
Right.
not always a bad thing.
Yeah. Not at all. I don't think
Yeah.
so at all. But if you are not prepared, you're not proactive, you don't know what's happening, that time where perimenopausal women they are becoming perimenopausal and don't know. If you haven't done the work or watched on podcast or been on social media and you don't know what's happening, it's terrifying. I had no idea at 46. My
Yes.
brain fog was through the roof. Night sweats were so bothersome, but it was the brain fog for me, and then the weight gain. Like, what is this? And now I know more that whatever fat was there, it's now redistributing itself to visceral fat, the scary kind, the
Mm-hmm.
kind that's right in the
Mm-hmm.
front, that also impacts our heart. And heart disease is the number one killer of women. So we've got to get all these things lined up. And so I love that you're doing that. You said women also talk to you about weight gain or weight
Mm-hmm.
distribution. What are you hearing from perimenopausal women?
That's the thing, or they're like, hey, I'm healthy, I eat well, I'm moving my body, I know that I need to prioritize protein, they're no dummies.
No,
and
smart.
and they're like, I've gained 15 pounds and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And that's where just bringing some validation to be like, yeah, you know you were already doing a hard thing, you were already carrying a boulder around, by taking good care of your body, eating well, making good choices, getting in those 90 100 grams protein. That's no easy task, and getting to the gym with your busy life and your career and your kids and all of that. But now you're pushing a boulder up a hill because you have insulin resistance and cortisol and all these things fighting against you. So
mm-hmm.
when we can sort out the hormones and getting their estrogen back into balance, that insulin resistance goes away, they're sensitive to insulin again, fuel comes in, it acts like fuel again instead
Right.
of just being stored as fat. What a game changer.
Game
They get
changer
a,
around the
yeah,
middle, no doubt. Like
around
the,
the middle,
the
absolutely. That
mm-hmm.
cortisol comes down to like a normal level again. Their body doesn't think they're in crisis.
Right,
Game changer.
right.
They get some testosterone back, they can build muscle. Their basal metabolic rate goes up. So when they're just resting, they're burning more calories.
It's my
That
favorite
makes the
sign.
equation
Yes.
change. Yeah. And then they've got motivation. Testosterone works in the brain in a super powerful way. One of those ways is motivation. It's the
Mm.
thing that makes you're sitting on the couch, you're hanging out, and you're like, you know what I want to do? I want to go call my friends up and see if they want to hit.
Oops, I lost your audio. Can you hear me?
Am I back?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just asking me if I want to do hand gestures.
Oh,
Um,
you're like, I'm already
yeah,
doing them.
I'm
Yeah,
already
thanks.
doing them. Yeah. I don't need your permission, Instagram. Um, yeah, so testosterone in the brain, it gives you motivation.
Mm.
And motivation is one of those things that it brings you to do something that you're not currently doing. So that
Yeah.
might be starting a business, it might be calling your friends, it might be initiating sex with your partner, it might be getting to the gym and doing that workout. So that's super helpful.
All
And we're
that is
just
really good. Yeah,
yeah, all that's
super
really
positive.
good. And we have so much to learn still about how testosterone impacts women because we don't have an FDA approved product in the United States for women. So, we're just not studying it. But we have lots of information about men, and, men and women are different, but there's a lot that we can extrapolate. And there's a
Yeah.
lot that we've learned just because we've been using it. And we can
And
gather data.
wonderful doctors, nurse practitioners talking about it. Dr. Kelly, also, she has a new book coming out,
Yes.
and it's a good segue to talk about. You've got an awesome
Yes.
summit coming up in
Yes.
October 5th, right? Sunday,
Oc-
October 5th.
yes, Sunday, October 5th from 1 to 6:30. And we have Dr. Kelly Casperson, we have Dr.
Dr.
Heather
Heather
Hirsch.
Hirsch. Yeah.
Yes,
Let's see.
we have so
Um,
many amazing women coming.
Lauren Tenenbaum's going to be there
Lauren
with her
Tenenbaum,
new
yes.
book on the millennial menopause, which she is a
Yes.
superstar. I just love that. Casey Fleming's going to be
Amazing.
there talking about probably women at menopause at work, I'm guessing.
Yes, she's going to be talking about how can you tell if it's burnout or
Mm,
if it's perimenopause, which so many things overlap. Such a great topic.
mhm.
We're also going to have Jordan Cahill there talking about hair. So many women have hair that's thinning, falling out, breaking, getting dry. She's going to talk about that. And then we have Christine Marin. She is a wonderful functional medicine provider that specializes in hormone health and gut health. And so she's going to be talking to us about that connection. And if you've never seen her speak, she's amazing. So um,
Beautiful. Well, I'll be
lots of
there,
really good things.
Stephanie. I'll be there. MenoWell will
Awesome.
be there. So
Yes, yes, we're
excited about it.
so happy to have you there.
Super
And
excited.
everyone who comes will get MenoWell bars in their little swag bag with a bunch of other awesome goodies. So,
Everyone loves a swag bag. I love it.
yeah.
I also, with your business, Vital Menopause, I love that you have a membership program because to me, that really, you're kind of putting a stake in the ground that you're here for women, that if they wanted to just sign up for 1 month, they can, but 3 months, 6 months are ongoing because this is a long journey. It is not 5 minutes, and we change over the journey. And maybe the hormone therapy we get in the beginning needs to evolve over time, or just having that person that touch base. And so I love that you decided to do it as a membership. What were you thinking? What were you thinking, Stephanie? What was
What
your
was I
thinking
think?
behind that?
What was I
What
thinking?
were you thinking?
What I was thinking was I didn't want um, cost constraints ultimately to be a deciding factor on if someone was going to reach out and follow up or if they were going to try something different. And so, I said, hey, if you're here, if you're with me, if you're a member, like that means something. You're part of
Mm,
something special.
mm,
And that means that you have a community, you have access, you have someone going on this journey with you. And so if something comes up and you're like, I don't know, is this normal? Should this be happening? What I'm experiencing is scaring me. I want to go to Google and find out. Instead you can come to me and say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. Do I just take a beat and, hold through this? Do I go back to the drawing board and we figure out something different? You've got someone to guide you through that has maybe a little bit of groundedness, because on the internet, you'll get a million different opinions. And there is a lot of predatory marketing going on around perimenopause and menopause right now where, they
uh-oh. Did you freeze? Oh, there you are. You're coming back.
someone is very intent on FaceTiming me right now.
Not now. Not now.
Ah, no, yeah.
It's like
Um,
perimenopause, inconvenient. But
yes,
what are you gonna do?
exactly,
Just click it
exactly.
off.
Yeah, it's like I declined you already twice. Um, yeah, so I wanted someone to be able to have those check-ins as frequently as they needed to, be able to change from a gel to a patch to a spray to a cream to a tablet, try all the things without it being extra cost, extra visits, just it's easy. They can text me. I have a secure messaging app people you can use. They can meet as often as they want to. My follow-up visits and my initial visits are all an hour, unless they want half an hour. Some, we have busy ladies going on here, so
You're like, no, I'm good.
sometimes,
Yeah, just let's talk
yeah,
about it and go.
they're
But
like,
others,
let's
but
let's
just
just check in and
having
go.
the option is huge because we know
Hmm.
that most women have, 5, 10, 15 minutes in their
Hmm.
in their doctor's office. So the luxury of an hour, heck yeah, invest in that. It's better than a spa, better than a massage, right? To be able to spend an hour with somebody who knows what they're doing, is certified in menopause, nurse practitioner, talking about you. So yes, invest in yourself for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I love
and
it.
for some of these women, like this is the one space they get, to
Hmm.
put themselves at the top of the list. They're always at the bottom of the list, and this is
Yeah,
the one space they get to be at the top of the list to, really take some space for them. So I'm happy to
take
be
some
that
space.
person.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, Stephanie, do you have any tips that you want to share with women who are navigating perimenopause? I don't know. I bet you have some in your bag of tricks. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that like the one sort of underrated supplement that all women in perimenopause should be utilizing is creatine. Um, I think, you know, we talk about that brain fog, we talk about that energy, we talk about your muscle. Creatine helps with all of those things, and there's really good research on it. And start slow. You don't want to have any issues with side effects, and you don't know how your body is going to accept it. So 5 grams is typically, in a scoop of high quality creatine, and there's lots of awesome brands out there. But start with like half a scoop, put that into your daily routine, and then build up to 5. It's something that you can feel like,
Right.
you utilize it within a few weeks, even sometimes immediately, you can feel that energy boost, you can feel that mental clarity starting to come back.
Super good.
So
And don't panic if you see scale weight going up. Notice I say scale weight, not body fat.
it's a
Scale
little
weight
bit
because
of
it's just
water. Yeah.
water filling up your muscles so they look plump and beautiful. And so just don't panic because I hear that
Yeah,
all the time. Like, no, I took
absolutely.
that and I gained so much weight. I'm like, it's just water. It's okay. You're all right.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say another, to your point, when you're starting on hormone therapy, some people will gain a little bit of water weight as well. And just kind of like keeping in mind your body is shifting things around, it's rearranging your body composition, and you're kind of plumping up some of those tissues. We all love that elastic skin, that like plumped up, collagen in our face and all of those things. And that's happening in a lot of tissues. It doesn't mean that you're gaining fat. It doesn't mean that you're going to, ultimately be a larger person.
Right.
So just kind of like give it a minute, take a breath, and try not to put so much value on the scale.
Scale weight, not really our friend. Body fat
Hmm.
percentage, that's our friend. So,
Yes, yes. Love a DEXA scan, love an in-body scan. Yeah.
good, good. Okay, what else you got? We've got creatine. We have, oh my God, I just drew a blank. Are we still on our creatine? Oh, hormone therapy. Don't be panicked about that.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
be don't be panicked about that. I anyone who gets who's prone to headaches, this is a tip that I feel like I haven't heard a lot, but it's very useful to a lot of women. And headaches was my like number one clue that something was going on for me in
Mm,
perimenopause.
mm,
My headaches got much more frequent and much more intense. And so anyone who's really struggling with headaches, I recommend that you try to keep your hormones as consistent and stable as possible. So for
mm.
me personally, I use a patch. to kind of smooth out my perimenopause, along with some oral micronized progesterone. And
Good.
that patch, if you overlap it by about 12 hours, so your old one is on, you put the new one on, leave it for 12 hours, and then take the old one off, you get really steady serum levels. So that's blood levels of estrogen, and you're
Ooh.
much less likely to get a headache from that dip.
Oh.
Most women get headaches around ovulation and around their periods, and that's from those big changes in hormones. You're much more likely to have steady state estrogen if
Hmm.
you overlap your patches just a little bit. So if you can't tell which one's new and which one's old, make a little mark on it, but you'll be able to tell usually because one has a little dirty ring on it and the other
Okay, I'm
one looks
glad you talked
fresh.
about the dirty ring. I'm like, I
Yeah.
take a shower every day. Like, what is that? That sticky stuff.
Yeah, I mean that sticky is
Hilarious.
really awesome because it makes it so you can do hot yoga and sauna and hot tub and shower and all the things, right? And your patch isn't going to go anywhere, but it does collect all the little like bits of like fiber from your clothing and
Like,
every little
ew.
thing that has any sort of pigment, and then it shows. But
Yeah,
all you need is a little bit of oil on a cloth, and it'll come right off. I use my hair conditioner in the shower, gets it right
that's two
off.
tips in one. I love
Yeah.
that. I hadn't heard double overlapping, not on top of each other, but on both sides for
Yes,
12
both
hours or
sides.
so. So that
Hmm.
way you don't have a dip and then rise again with a new patch. Yeah.
Yes. Yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
I'm going to do that. I
Exactly.
just changed mine. What's today? Tuesday. Yesterday, I change on Mondays because I always found I used to change on Sundays, but then I might be somewhere on Sundays if I'm away, and then I have
Mm.
to remember to bring it. So now I do Mondays. So
Yeah.
I'm a
Good.
7 day a
Good tip.
weeker versus a
Yeah.
twice a week, only because simplicity.
Yeah, and that works for some people. For me, the 7 days didn't hang on long enough. So
Yeah,
I love that there's so many options. I would always encourage anyone who's like, "Oh, I tried hormone therapy, it didn't work for me." Um, if you feel like there's still some symptoms that you want to address, it could be you just need a different route, a different dose. There's
yeah.
lots and lots of flexibility within it. So
Don't give up. Don't give
don't
up.
give up. If it's something that you want to do, talk to a specialist, talk to someone who knows all the options. Make sure you've heard all the options before you just say, "Oh, tried that one thing," and then walk away.
Yeah, really good. Okay, anything else as we're wrapping up here?
Um, I would say that I get a question about libido frequently, and it's like,
Yeah,
what hormone is going to help with my libido? And that's the hardest question to answer because libido is so multifaceted.
right.
And I think it goes back to that relationship question a little bit, but ultimately, look at yourself first in the libido picture. Look at, are you well fed? Are
Mm,
you sleeping? Are you feeling nurtured? Do you feel like you have enough, again, space for you? Someone needing something from you in every moment of every day, and you're starting to sort of resent that, and that's
right.
why you're not
Doesn't
wanting
feel
to
very
reconnect.
sexy. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, look at that first, and then look at how you connect and how you interact with other people and your partner.
Mm,
That can make the biggest difference. And once you've got energy, hormones, things feel good, you feel good in your body, you love yourself, doesn't necessarily matter how you look, but you have that love for yourself back, then you're going to be much more available to connect to other people,
mm.
um, whoever those people are.
I love that. Mindset, how we feel about ourselves, what we believe is so powerful. And we can have all the patches and micronized progesterone and even vaginal estrogen. And if we just don't feel good, don't believe that this is the best time, that all we have opportunity in front of us and this is empowering, it's really hard to make all those things activate at their highest level. It's really a total approach. So I love
Yeah.
that you come with libido from that perspective, and a little vaginal estrogen does not hurt at all.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Vaginal estrogen is your friend and every woman can have it. It
everyone.
is it is safe for
Forever.
all women
Forever.
forever.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Really good. Okay, Stephanie Traver. NP, founder of Vital Menopause. I love it. And so women can find you here on Instagram, right?
Yes, yes.
At Stephanie Traver.
At Stephanie Traver, WHNP, and they can also find out about the Thrive Summit at Thrive Summit, Colorado. All of that is also on my website at vitalmenopause.com.
I love it. October 5th, Sunday from 1 to 6:30. So if you're going to any other events in New York or any other place, you just hop on a plane and be there right on time for
Yes.
Stephanie's. Because you've got Dr. Heather Hirsch, you've got Dr. Kelly Casperson, on, who to be able to be in a room with them and they're so available is really life changing. So
Hmm.
really, really good. So.
Yes.
Stephanie, thank you for breaking me back
Thank
into the
you.
Meadow Lounge after the
My
summer.
pleasure.
I
Appreciate
still
it.
feel rusty. I'm like, oh shoot, my bra strap is showing today.
Uh,
Like I still have on my, my workout leggings down here because I came flying in. But
yeah,
hey,
well,
we're back
we're
mostly.
back.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of having a
yeah.
silent protest here until September, I have to admit, but that's okay. Glad to be back with you. So.
Yes, we drug you back into the room, and here we are.
I've been working so hard all summer. I feel like I have literally been in summer school, so I need to play. I need some playtime. So
Yes, a little levity, a little play, so
a little
important.
play, all good.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you're doing for women in midlife, for perimenopausal
Oh,
women, stepping out in your own business as as not a naturopath, but a nurse practitioner, which I think is so important because nurse practitioners have always done such a beautiful job with patients
mm.
when doctors sometimes were not able to. So thank you for all you're doing. Can't
Thank
wait to see
you.
you
Yeah.
IRL in October.
Yes,
I promise.
absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right. Be
you.
well. See you, everybody. Thanks for being
Right.
here on the Menno
Yes.
Lounge. Talk soon. Be
Right.
well.
Bye.
Bye.